Hi, guys, and welcome to week five, day one. I am so excited because this is the start of phase one. Phase one is where we start getting into like the MCU, which I love. Today we are watching, well, no, sorry. This week's lineup is amazing. So I have them all on DVD because, yeah, I've been here, y'all. I've been here. We've had these since they came out. This is the lineup for this week, and I am so excited. It is a lot of movies. It's 6 movies, but I've seen them all before, like many, many times. Some of them fairly recently. So, very, very excited about this lineup for this week. We are going to start with Iron Man. I'm going to watch it today, even though it's not like on the calendar to watch it today, but I have a job interview on Friday. Yay. So I want to make sure that I have time. I'm just in the mood to continue this project right now. I can't believe it's already been a month since I started this. Yeah, so I'm going to watch Iron Man. I'm so excited. Look at this. Look at this elite lineup for the week. Oh my god. Some of the stuff that they say at the beginning of this movie, and just like some of the things that Tony says and does in this movie, are so indicative of how much he changes throughout the series. Sorry, I'm smiling like a freak. I love Tony. There's a point at the beginning where Obadiah says that the best and worst thing about Tony, or something like that, is that he's always working. And then it cuts to Tony gambling because he's not always working at this point. But it's funny because later in his evolution, I guess, he is working all the time. That is all he does. That's like part of the conflict with him and Pepper. Pepper, by the way, I always forget how much of a badass she is. She's so good. I'm like halfway. I'm like a half hour into the movie. They're still in the cave. They're almost out, but that's sad. That's its own sad moment. Also, thank God Rhodey wasn't in the Jeep or Humvee or whatever, the car, the vehicle with Tony, or he would have ended up dead. Obviously, I know that they did that on purpose, but thank God that they did that for the plot because I love Rhodey, even though the actor changes after this movie. Coulson. 45 minutes into the first MCU project, and we meet Agent Phil Coulson. Barely. But he's here at the press conference after Tony gets back. In case you don't remember, I love Phil Coulson. So this is a fun moment for me. I kind of forgot that he was in this one, but I guess he actually plays like a pretty big part in it, so it makes sense. I just kind of totally completely forgot the second half of the movie, I guess. Whoops. Anyway, that was it. I just wanted to say Coulson, my baby. I hate that he's dead in the MCU. He's not dead. If Agents of Shield was canon, Coulson, I don't even know how many times he dies. During Agents of Shield, he would have at least had a little more time. Justice for Agents of Shield and Coulson and everybody else on it. I'm gonna ask y'all to bear with me for a second. I saw a TikTok the other day. The TikTok itself was, first of all, I don't think from somebody who's watched Marvel movies or even really read the comics. Not that I've read the comics, but like they just had very little to base their opinions on for this. It was like judging you based on your Marvel boyfriend. And I didn't get very far because the first one they did was Tony Stark. And they said that they see him as more of a father figure. And I was like, I get it. They specifically said it was because of like the internet and because of TikTok. And I get that. He is very, towards the end of his run in the MCU, he is a very father figure. He's a father figure to Peter, and then he, quite literally has a kid. But I'm reminded why there's Tony Stark fan fiction. Oh, so he just has like an attractive personality to me as he grows up, as he matures and develops. Obviously, not when he's like a party boy womanizer jerk at the beginning of the movie, but it was always there. The potential was always there. Anyway, that was it. We're at the scene where Pepper has to help him switch out the arc reactor in his chest. As I'm watching this, I'm seeing that Tony has circles cut out on all of his t-shirts, and I have to wonder, there's no way he would do that himself. Or would he? But either way, it's funny to imagine either like him or Pepper going through with like a stencil of where the circle needs to be and like measuring where it is on each shirt, because you can't just put it in a random spot. You have to measure it exactly, and then you need the exact right cutout because it's like snug to his arc reactor. Just imagining them taking the time to do that so diligently. It's probably only like 2 t-shirts, to be completely honest, but it's really funny. It's just a funny image to imagine them like doing that to any of his t-shirts. Honestly, he probably just cuts them when he probably just puts them on and just like, that's what I would do. That's the most accurate way to do it. The easiest way to make sure that you're putting the hole in the right spot and it's the right size. But it's just a funny thought that popped into my head. So I just finished Iron Man, and I don't know that I have very much to say about it. I've seen this movie so many times in the almost 20 years since it came out. That makes me feel old. I gave Iron Man, I already rated it on Letterboxd. I gave it 4.5 stars somehow. I think I only had it at 4 stars before, but I gave it 4.5 this time. Upped it a little. Obviously, that means I moved it to the top of the ranking. But that's not surprising. That is exactly what I would expect. Some of the movies this week are going to be taking over the top 5, to be honest. Not The Incredible Hulk. So Phil Coulson and S.H.I.E.L.D. are introduced, and I do kind of love that you meet Phil Coulson before you meet Fury, but you do meet Fury in the end credit scene, which is fun. I totally forgot what the end credit scene was for this movie, but it's Nick Fury coming to talk to Tony about the Avenger Initiative. It's kind of funny that S.H.I.E.L.D. is introduced through Iron Man when he is like the least involved with S.H.I.E.L.D. in the end. I forgot how entwined S.H.I.E.L.D. was with the first few movies, and then it falls. Obviously, I'll see you when I watch The Incredible Hulk tomorrow. Hi. I don't know how good this angle is. Probably really horrible, but don't worry, you don't have to deal with it for very long. I redid the entire calendar, starting with phase 2, which is the next phase. I left phase 1 as is because it's only 2 weeks anyway. So on average, I needed like 480 minutes a week, and I was way, way, way over that for most of it. So I decided to go back through and redo like all of it. By spreading it out a little more up front and in the middle, I did make it take a little bit longer as well. So now, instead of watching Spider-Man Brand New Day on like the first week of November 2026, which is over a month before Doomsday releases, it releases December 18th, 2026, I am now finishing everything that's come out so far the 3rd week of November 2026, and I will have like 3 weeks until Avengers Doomsday. So I'll have enough time to rewatch a few things if I feel like I need to rewatch a few things, watch anything that I may have missed, that kind of stuff. And then Doomsday will release, and I'll go probably see it opening weekend. So yeah, that was it. Just wanted to update y'all that I am no longer going to be insane and try to watch like 1,000 minutes of content, of movies and shows in a week, because I did have a week with 1,000 minutes in it, which is like 10 hours. 1,200 minutes would be 10 hours. It's a lot. I don't need to be doing that. This was supposed to be quick, and it's not. I'm rambling again. So that was it. Sorry for the interruption. Thanks. Hello, welcome to week 5, day 3. I skipped yesterday. I didn't watch anything yesterday, day 2. So today we are watching The Incredible Hulk. This is the MCU canon Hulk, even though the actor changes after this movie to Mark Ruffalo. But whatever. Oh, they're showing a trailer for Iron Man before this movie. They showed a trailer for the Hulk before Iron Man. I'm watching my DVDs, so like I'm seeing all the trailers. And they showed a trailer for the Hulk before Iron Man, which is funny because the trailer includes Iron Man in it because he's in like I'm pretty sure he's just in like the end credit scene. I forgot to mention before I started the movie, I'm 35 minutes into it now, that I looked at it on Letterboxd the other day just to like see something. I forget. I think maybe I was looking up the runtime or something. I don't remember. And I had given it a half star rating. That is how much I disliked it the last time I watched it. Or like that's how much did I dislike the memory of it because I don't even know when the last time I watched it was. And I'm pretty sure when I logged it on Letterboxd, it was just like from memory, not from having watched it. My rating will almost certainly be going up because if Howard the Duck can be 1 star, The Incredible Hulk can absolutely be at least 1 star. I'm kind of guessing it'll be at least 2 stars. We'll see. I'm 35 minutes in. It's an almost 2 hour movie, so I have a lot of time left, but it's not an origin story. So I don't love the ones that aren't origin stories because I feel like we don't get to know the characters nearly as well as you do with an origin story. You don't get to know really how they change, but we'll see how it goes. So far, I'm not feeling connected to Bruce Banner like at all. I feel like he has very little personality, and I don't love that because in the later MCU movies, they give him a personality and I love him. I just finished The Incredible Hulk. I still don't like this movie very much. I ended up giving it 2 stars and I put it above Howard the Duck and Elektra, but below everything else that I've watched thus far. It just didn't like you have like no backstory aside from the characters aside from the opening montage. You have kind of bad CGI. I think not even great for the time. It was fine for most of the movie, but then there were certain parts where I looked at it and I was like, that's why the difference? And quite honestly, the movie was kind of boring for parts. Like he's just on the run for a lot of it. I don't know. I saw one Letterboxd review because I look at the Letterboxd reviews. I like to see other people being funny. I didn't leave a review. I didn't write anything for this one because I didn't know what to write. I don't have a lot of thoughts on it that I would write in a review. I didn't feel like the characters were fleshed out at all. Their relationships were not fleshed out at all. Everything happened before the movie. All of the conflicts, all of the relationship building, it all happened before the movie started. And I think they did that so that they didn't have to put it in there. And so then there's no connection to the characters. There's barely any emotion from the characters. There's just like nothing. I felt nothing about them. And there's like very little personality from any of them, except for Ross. Like, honestly, Ross is probably one of the best characters in this movie. I do like how much context it gives you for Ross because, like, it's proof that he's sucked the whole time. The relationship with Betty also comes back in Brave New World, like Ross's relationship with Betty, but Betty is never mentioned in any of the Hulk scenes or storylines at all. In fact, Bruce goes on to form a romantic relationship with someone else, which is totally fine. I just think it's a little weird that they just never mention Betty again. I also feel like this was just a completely different Bruce Banner, and I think that's why I've never really watched it and never really liked it all that much. It just does not feel like the same character, even. His personality feels pretty different. I don't know, that's a lot of rambling. I'm like half asleep right now. So let's watch Iron Man 2. Hello and welcome to week 5, day 4. Today is Iron Man 2 day. I don't know why I held the mic so far away from me. I'm sorry. Today we are watching Iron Man 2. I thought about watching it last night and then I did not feel like it. So I didn't. Technically, we are on schedule with me watching it today anyway, so it's fine. It's no big deal. The Iron Man movies are all movies that I enjoy. Honestly, I just love Iron Man. This one in particular, I like in part just because it introduces Natasha Romanoff, and I adore Black Widow. She is one of my favorite characters, and she has been since she was introduced in this movie. So it's Wednesday. I am feeling a little like off today, not in the way yesterday I felt unwell. Today I just feel like weird, so I put on jewelry and like an actual, instead of like a t-shirt or a sweatshirt, let's watch Iron Man 2.
Looking for you? What are you up to later? Serving subpoenas.
I'm not sure if it's canon or not. I don't think it's canon, but I know the theory, at least, is that that little kid is Peter Parker. I just know that I've seen it in a lot of like fan fictions and stuff. So I just finished Iron Man 2. I gave it 4 stars. I liked it more than I remember liking it, but I think I said that about The Incredible Hulk and the first Iron Man movie. So I do think it's funny that the 2 women in his life in this movie are both redheads, considering, how small of a community redheads is. There's not that many of us. I feel like this end credit scene is the first one that really set anything else up and had everyone like, oh my god, I need to see the next Marvel movie. I need to watch the next movie. Because, so during Iron Man 2, you get the setup. You get to know Coulson a little bit more, but not very much. And then you get him going to New Mexico. And then the end credit scene, or you get him saying he's going to go to New Mexico for an assignment, something important. And then the end credit scene is him driving in New Mexico and finding Thor's hammer and then just a crack of lightning. And it's just so good. It's so good. It makes you want to watch the next movie. I want to watch Thor right now. Like I just immediately want to watch it. I also want to watch it because it introduces Hawkeye, whom I love. So, Anyway, 4 stars. It's now number 2 on my Marvel ranking list on Letterboxd. On to Thor. Well, I just finished Thor right after watching Iron Man 2. We're having a movie marathon kind of night. I gave it 3.5 stars, and I put it in between, I put it under Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 1 and 3, but above some of the others. I don't remember. The Thor movies are just overall my least favorite of the like Marvel movies, of the MCU movies. I don't like them all that much. I don't think they're like bad movies. They're just not my favorite. And in the first Thor movie, I just don't care that much about anyone but Darcy or Clint, and neither of them are in it very much. And Coulson, obviously. But I figure, it's still early in the night. It's not true, it's 10 o'clock. But it's early for me because I am a night owl. So I think I'm going to watch Captain America the First Avenger now as well. We're doing a triple feature tonight. And then that way I only have Avengers to watch later this week, which is great in part because Superman is coming to streaming on Friday in 2 days. So I would like to have time to watch that. And also I need to start like editing the next video for this series. I need a little extra time. And I've already seen these movies, so like I can marathon them and be okay. I'm paying attention enough. And I've watched these movies so many times in my life at this point. I'm always noticing some new things, but I noticed something that I wanted to point out and I forget what it is now. Oh, Sitwell. I didn't remember Sitwell being in this. I don't watch this one specifically very often, and I did not remember Sitwell being in this, but he's in this movie. He's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then he's in Captain America and Winter Soldier. And he's like kind of important in those last 2. He's kind of important. They talk about him quite a few times in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. leading up to the events of Captain America and the Winter Soldier, which is season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So that was interesting. I don't know how I forgot that he was in this. I think I probably have this realization every single time I watch this movie, and then I forget because there's just so many things happening in all of these movies that it's impossible to remember every detail, even a detail as big as that one. It's been like 5 minutes. I am gonna watch Captain America: The First Avenger. I just put the DVD in, and the title menu soundtrack is just the Captain America theme song, and I immediately started smiling. Tell me why. I love Captain America so much. I feel like I should put on my Captain America hat, but it is Sam Wilson Captain America, not Steve Rogers Captain America. I actually don't have any Steve Rogers Captain America merch. And I just ordered more Sam Wilson Captain America merch from Box Lunch, so I'm not about to get more Steve Rogers unless I have some on my birthday wish list on Etsy, some like fun t-shirts, so unless I get one of those, I don't have any Steve Rogers merch. Find that out next week because my birthday is next week. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's watch my least favorite Captain America movie. I still love it though. I love Steve Rogers. This is stupid. Why am I so happy about watching this movie? It's not even like it's my least favorite Captain America movie. Okay, that's I'll stop being weird about this. Let's just watch the movie.
When I was 7, I saw the Captain America movie, and when he came out the machine, he looked like a glazed donut.
I just finished Captain America: The First Avenger. Sorry for fangirling so much beforehand. I don't take it back. I'm not ashamed, but I love Captain America. I've always loved Captain America. I have been a Cap girl probably since this movie came out, to be honest. I have photographic evidence of me being a Cap girl at the very least in 2013 because the photos from 2013. I give this 4 stars. It's currently in number 2 on my ranking. Tell me why it made me like a little bit emotional despite knowing exactly what happens. Also, I'm not going to ramble or rant about it too much right now. I will when we get to Endgame, but Steve's ending will never fail to piss me off. That said, I love Peggy. I know a lot of people don't like her, but I don't know why. So I don't know if that's one of those ones that it's because she's a woman or if there's actual reasons that people don't like her. My favorite part about the relationships in this movie is that Peggy and Bucky respect Steve before he gets the serum. They love him before he turns into Captain America. And I think that's so important. And I do think that's part of why Steve would have gone back, because when he comes back 70 years later, everybody just knows Captain America. They know the icon that they made him into. They don't know Steve Rogers. And honestly, I think that that's an issue that we have with the community, the fan community. I see so many things about Captain America and Steve Rogers that are like so not his character. I'm like I'm sorry. I forget what I even saw, but it was implying that he like doesn't swear and that he's like a goody two shoes. I'm sorry, Stephen Grant Rogers. Honey, you did not watch the same movies that I did. I hate how often people mischaracterize him. Like, yes, he has that one slip up in Ultron where he says language and Tony gives him some crap about it. And well, everybody gives him some crap about it. They give him crap about it because he swears too. They give him crap about it because it's an old-fashioned thing for him to do. Steve was in the army. Military people, if you know, you know, they tend to swear a lot. He was around that. He probably partook in that, at least to some degree. I just wish that people would pay attention. I've noticed this. No, I don't want to go on that tangent right now. That was gonna go on a not even Marvel, just movie tangent. I'm not even a huge movie girl, but I notice people just not even paying attention, not even using their brains, not paying attention to movies, and it bothers me one of my favorite movies is Pitch Perfect. Don't judge me. I've already mentioned Pitch Perfect in these vlogs. I know that for a fact. I have referenced them. In the first Pitch Perfect movie, there's a riff off. It's iconic. We all know what I'm talking about. If you haven't watched Pitch Perfect, you should watch it. It's not like a great movie, but it's a fun time and there's songs. And the number of conversations I've had with people where they've gone, oh, I don't even know why the Bellas, which is like the main group that we're following, I don't even know why the Bellas got disqualified from the riff off. The MC for the riff off says why. Straight up says exactly why they got disqualified from the riff off. And you don't know why? Did you watch the movie? I was not expecting to go on a rant about this. I'm sorry. Anyway, back to Captain America. I have a lot of thoughts about Captain America and his character, and I want to read a lot more of his comics so that I have like more context. Yes, Steve Rogers is a kind person. He's not he is not what people seem to make him out to be, and it just bothers me so much. Anyway, 4 stars. I really want to watch The Avengers right now, but it's almost 1 a.m. and it's over 2 hours. That movie is over 2 hours, so I'm not going to. That's it for week 5, day 4. I watched 3 whole movies today, and hopefully tomorrow I'll watch The Avengers, and then we'll be done with week 5. And next week I only have a couple of movies to watch, so it'll be a shorter week. I'll see you when I watch The Avengers. Hello. Welcome to week 5, day 5. We are watching the last movie on the docket for this week right now, Avengers 2012. One of my favorite movies, in part just for nostalgia. Yeah, I don't think I have that much to say in preparation for it. I do love the case that the Blu-ray comes in. It's kind of fun. It has like a holographic cover. And as I've been using the DVDs, we've had these DVDs pretty much since these movies came out. So something I've been noticing, like Iron Man, only on DVD, no Blu-ray. The Incredible Hulk, only on DVD, no Blu-ray. And then Iron Man 2, DVD and Blu-ray, smaller case, digital copy, but it's an actual disc. Whereas now you just have like a code that you get the digital copy from. No, these ones have actual discs that you put in your computer to get the digital copy from. Most people I know don't even have disk drives in their computers anymore. I don't have one built in. I have an external disk drive because in college I had DVDs and I wanted to watch them, but I had this tiny little laptop. So I bought an external disk drive. Most people I know don't even have DVD players or Blu-ray players, and here I am using one. So anyway, that aside, we're going to watch Avengers 2012. I'm sure I'll have a lot to say, to be honest, and I'm drinking an energy drink while I watch it, so I'll just get worse. I'll just get more energy, more thoughts in my head, hopefully. So I'm excited. Let's go. Hello. I finished The Avengers like a little while ago, and then I sat on TikTok for a while. I thought I'd have way more to say about it, but I just love that movie, man. I love The Avengers so much. I did give it 5 stars. It's at the top right now. It will get beat out eventually. There are a few 5-star movies, in my opinion, in the MCU. So it does. When I watch this, I am always reminded that I think part of why I love Steve Rogers so much is because his growth kind of reflects my growth as a person. There's a lot of similarities and parallels there that I'm not gonna get into because you don't need to know that much about me, but I do think that's part of why I like Steve Rogers so much, especially like the time that this came out in 2012. I was in high school, and then Winter Soldier came out in 2014. I was in high school. But then Civil War and Infinity War and Endgame and Ultron, Ultron, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, those all came out while I was in college, and really, I don't know, going through some changes, and I do think that there are some parallels there, and I have already talked too much about it. Anyway, so I gave it 5 stars. I love this movie. I love all of them together. I just love them. I miss them. I miss my Avengers. Don't get me wrong, I like the Thunderbolts. I'm sure that Sam Wilson will put together a great team of Avengers. I don't know how all of the teams are going to work out going into Doomsday. A lot of people are going to die in Doomsday, I think. I like New Marvel. I like a lot of the characters. I grew up with these ones, so it's different. I want to go read some like 2013 fan fiction about Clint being in the vents and Thor eating all the Pop-Tarts, because I know that's what was the thing in fan fiction back then. I didn't really read them back then. I do read them now. Sometimes I like to go read the old ones because they're just fun. They're more fun sometimes. I love this movie. I'm nostalgic over this movie all the time. Watching it always makes me want to watch The Nanny Diaries, because that stars Scarlett Johansson and Chris Evans, and I just love their dynamic is so good. They've known each other for like ever, I think. They've known each other since they were kids. So anytime they're on screen together, they just have like a little bit of chemistry, friendship chemistry. And The Nanny Diaries is not a great movie, really, but it's a fun movie. I like it a lot. So it always makes me want to rewatch that, but it's not streaming anywhere, so that's it for the phase 1 of the MCU, though. We're not done with phase 1 because next week we're watching a couple X-Men movies and the second Ghost Rider movie, but those are not like MCU canon. They're just Marvel adaptations that came out during the phase 1 era of the MCU. And seeing as I'm doing things in chronological order by release date, they fit into the MCU, into phase 1. I just wanted to watch all of the MCU movies in 1 week because the other movies don't affect them. So I'm not necessarily watching them all completely 100% in order. When we get into later phases, I do a little bit more because it's just easier to organize it if I just watch them in order. That's it for week 5. That's week 5 done. It's only Thursday, but we're done with week 5. So that's fun and exciting. And I'll see you for week 6. Hi, welcome to week 6. Today, this week is a short week, which is good because it's Monday and I'm already exhausted. I have a busy week. It's my birthday week, but I have a concert tomorrow night, and then I'm going to the Ren Fair on Saturday. And this morning, the reason I'm exhausted already, this morning I went to drive my car to the shop because a concerning light came on and a concerning noise was made in my car. We thought, yeah, it'll make it to the shop. No. 2-3 minutes into my drive, every single warning light that I have seen in my car ever came on. It told me that my ABS needed to be checked, that my brakes in general needed to be checked, and then I lost my power steering. So something's up with the alternator in my car. That's really, really fun. We had to get it towed. And that process took about 2 hours. It was 50 degrees Fahrenheit when I left the house this morning in this sweatshirt because I was like, it's a 10-minute drive there. I'll be inside for like 5 minutes max talking to the people who work there. And then it's a 10-minute drive back. No, I had to sit in a car on the side of the road for almost 2 hours. Anyway, it is Monday of week 6, so day 2 technically, but I only have 3 movies to watch this week. And we start with X-Men Origins Wolverine. This is the lineup for this week. This is both Ghost Rider movies. We're only watching the second one today, though. Or not today, this week. I keep saying today. It's not today, it's this week. We're going to watch X-Men Origins Wolverine today. I don't remember that much about it, but I do remember not really liking it all that much when I initially watched it in probably 2009 when this came out. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, okay, let's watch X-Men Origins Wolverine. And hopefully I'll feel more awake somewhere in there. I'll wake up after, even though I've had 2 cold brews and a caffeinated soda today already. I'm pumped full of caffeine. I am just Anyway, let's watch the movie. Y'all don't care. Let's watch the movie. So I just finished X-Men Origins Wolverine. I feel very neutral about it. I think mostly neutral bad. So I think I'm gonna give it like 2 stars. I could not find anything in me to care about this movie. I knew what was gonna happen. And I will say, I feel like I completely blocked this movie out of my memory. I don't remember a single second of it. I thought I did. I don't. I took notes because I didn't feel like talking during the movie, and also I was charging my phone during the movie because it was kind of dead from me sitting in a car for 2 hours and just doing nothing but being on my phone. Anyway, first thought is because I'm watching it on DVD, so it has the trailers from the time that it was coming out. Percy Jackson, the original Percy Jackson movie, had a trailer, and I am so disappointed in how fast I recognized that it was a Percy Jackson trailer. There were some fun trailers. I forget what the other ones were, but there were some fun trailers. Anyway, thoughts on the actual movie. First of all, Troye Sivan, what are you doing here, my guy? I did not know that he was in this. I forgot that he acted ever. I know him as a YouTuber first and then musician now, obviously. will.i.am? Like, from the Black Eyed Peas? Okay. Wild casting to me. Didn't know he acted either. As soon as I saw Kayla and Logan living a happy life, I knew she was gonna die. They made them look just way too happy together. Of course she's gonna die. He can't be happy. What superhero is happy and healed and healthy? None of them. Okay, I kind of wrote down like a long paragraph thinking out loud, word vomiting onto the page about how this works with the new Deadpool, because Ryan Reynolds is in this as Wade Wilson, and then he is turned into a different version of Deadpool. So I was like kind of confused how that works, because this Logan, supposedly, is the Logan in the timeline of the Deadpool and Wolverine, the beginning of Deadpool and Wolverine. He's talking about how Logan died, which happens in the movie Logan, and how so then he has to go to different universes and or different timelines or whatever, and he finds a different Logan variant to help him. So then how and why, how does this Deadpool work? Because this seems like it's in the same universe as the Logan that dies that the different Deadpool is in. So maybe my question will get answered later. It probably will. Maybe, possibly. I don't know, actually. But the first Deadpool movie was, I believe, 20th Century Fox, and this movie was 20th Century Fox. So I think that the question will be answered later in the X-Men movies or the Deadpool movies. Or maybe it's just one of those things that you chalk up to comic books. Superhero movies, man. I don't know. Sometimes the mathy method. Line that stood out to me that I thought was funny was Victor saying to Logan at the very end, right before the big fight with Deadpool, or during the big fight with Deadpool, whatever, he goes, "Nobody kills you but me," which is such a sibling thing to say as somebody with 3 siblings. It's such a sibling thing to say. Like, I will bully you, but nobody else is allowed to. But I'm allowed to, but not anybody else. Nope, nobody else gets to do that. That's my right. I thought that was funny. My last little note here, the way he loses his memories by just being shot in the head, underwhelming, kind of weird, but again, superhero movie, comic book logic. Anything can happen, anything goes, pretty much, when you remember to frame it like that. It just felt like anticlimactic a little bit. That is 1 out of 3 movies for the week done. I may or may not watch another one. Oh. Superman 2025 is finally streaming. It's on HBO Max now, and I watched it. I gotta say, I have never cared about Superman more than I do now that I've watched that movie. Anyway, this is a Marvel marathon, not DC, so I don't know why I'm talking about it, but your girl's getting into all the superhero shit, and that's just, I thought I'd update you on that. Yeah, okay, so that's my little rant of the day, and that is the first movie of week 6 all done. I will check back in with you when I decide to watch X-Men First Class, which I remember liking. Haven't watched it in a really long time, so it'll be fun to revisit. See you then. Hello. Welcome to week 6. Movie 2. It's Wednesday. This week, I think I said already, but this week is lighter because I have things to do this week. For example, yesterday I went to a Sleep Token concert. I am, of course, already wearing the shirt I got. It was so much fun. So good. They're so good live. Today we're watching X-Men First Class. I remember a couple of things about this movie, but I don't remember very much, so that's fun. Let's just watch the movie. I just wanted to say real quick before I get to the depressing, very, very sad part of this movie. Well, I mean, Darwin already died, which is also very sad. I have, I don't know, such a big crush on Charles Xavier, young Charles Xavier. I love James McAvoy, so like that's not surprising to anyone, but yeah, I just wanted to say that real fast. Also, there are so many people in this movie that I forgot were in this movie. I will go through all of that. I took notes. I wrote everyone down. Okay, I have no idea what the framing looks like for this right now. Hopefully it's not too horrible. But yeah, so X-Men First Class is done. I took notes again. The very first thing that I thought was, is that Kevin Bacon? I looked it up. It is, in fact, Kevin Bacon. He plays Shaw / Schmidt, the kind of the villain of most of the movie. And then I wrote down, are they lovers? Worse. Because obviously, like, the ship of Charles and Eric is a very popular one. I don't know what the ship name is. I haven't looked it up. But their first interaction, Eric goes, I thought I was alone. And Charles says, you're not alone. Eric, you're not alone. Their first conversation, the first time they meet, like, come on. And also, X-Men is like widely known for having allegories for being queer. When you're watching the original movies, I know there was at least one moment where I was like, oh, that's what it's like to be, that's very similar to what it's like to be queer. Because Bobby's parents, I think, are like, can't you just not? Which is a very common thing for unsupportive parents of queer kids. So X-Men is one of the ones that's very, very well known for those allegories, those metaphors. And then when Hank gets introduced before he turns into Beast, his introduction, Charles is like, oh, another mutant. And the CIA guy is like, what? And Hank pretty much says, well, not pretty much. He says exactly, well, you didn't ask, so I didn't tell you, which is just military don't ask, don't tell, which is about being queer. So they're everywhere. Also, I did not know that was Nicholas Hoult. So interesting to see that, having watched Superman 2025 just a few days ago, which he is also in as Lex Luthor. Obviously very, very different characters. It was just funny. I kind of forgot that he existed. And then Superman press tour happened, and I remembered that he existed. And now he's in this. Another note that I wrote down is that Stryker is one of the people that they meet with at the CIA. I do assume it's the same Stryker that experiments on Wolverine. Also, when they're recruiting, they try to recruit Wolverine and he tells him to F off, and I just think that's fun. I wrote down a note about the allegories of being queer, but also this movie is quite literally about Nazis, which is unfortunately relevant in this day and age. Oh, at one point I wrote down, because it was starting to annoy me, Charles just like goes into people's heads and he doesn't ask. He just starts reading people's minds. And that's like, really? You're gonna invade people's privacy like that? I don't know. I don't like that man. I would be so mad at him. It just feels invasive and bad. I don't like it. I got excited about the Cerebro origin, and then Hank says, "Oh, well, maybe we could shave your head. Are you sure we can't shave your head?" or something like that. And Charles goes, "Don't touch my hair." So that's just like obviously supposed to be a funny little thing, and it was. And then, okay, this is where we get to all of the actors that I somehow forgot were in this. So the first one is in it. She's in it for like 2 seconds. Sasha Peterse. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing her name wrong, but she plays Allison in Pretty Little Liars. This was clearly around Pretty Little Liars time. I forget when it came out, 2009 or something, 2010, somewhere in there. But this was definitely around Pretty Little Liars time because she looks the way she did in PLL, but that was like insane to me. And then the other people who were in it, Zoe Kravitz, I did kind of remember that she was in this. Jennifer Lawrence, obviously. I wrote down the Hannah Montana movie guy, Lucas Till, who plays Havoc. He the first thing I saw him in was either this or the Hannah Montana movie. He plays the love interest in the Hannah Montana movie. He was the first cowboy that I was like, oh. Anyway, that's all the notes that I wrote down. This movie always makes me sad because Darwin dies. Obviously, it's always sad when somebody dies. But then also, you see Eric and Charles become friends, become whatever they are. It hurts a lot to see the ending, to see Charles get paralyzed from the waist down and have it be Eric's fault. I think every time I watch the movie, it just like breaks my heart a little bit, even though I know it's coming. But it does make those interactions between Charles and Eric in the earlier movies that take place later in time, it makes those interactions feel even more poignant in a way because you know what their backstory is. And yeah, I'm probably gonna give this movie a solid 3 stars, maybe 3.5. It's not my favorite, but it's not a bad movie. I do enjoy it. So I think she'll sit somewhere in the middle. And then that is it for today. We have one more movie to watch this week. I will watch it either tomorrow or Friday. I haven't decided yet. I will check in with you when I start Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. Okay. Ugh. I feel like you're not going to be able to see me. Okay, hopefully you can see me. I think you're crooked. Fix that. Hopefully you can see me. I think you can. Today is week 6. It's Friday of week 6. We are watching Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. And while I watch Ghost Rider, you may have noticed in the background of my videos, not right now, but when I'm sitting in that chair, you may have noticed that I have pin boards in the back. I don't know if you how much I don't know how much you can see them. I want to put all of my Marvel pins on one of the pin boards and like make sure that it's in the background of my videos at least a little bit, at least every so often. So I'm going to do that while I watch Ghost Rider because I'm incapable of sitting still. I'm also drinking, for my fellow Gilmore Girls fans, you'll appreciate this. My little Luke's mug. I almost said Mook's lug. No. It's time to watch Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. And I will show you my pins while I'm watching, but I'll show you how my pins are set up now, and then I will show you the end result of me rearranging. Anyway, let's get to the movie and the pin rearranging. Okay, so not like the greatest view, and I also have crap here. This is what I put my tripod on to film the calendar things every time. So this is, I'll just give you a little tour of my wall. This is the cork board that the calendar for this lives on. Pride and Prejudice 20th anniversary, me and my friend. My brother got me this for my birthday 2 years ago. It's Ariel as a manatee, more friends. My grandmother made that, a little quote thingy. And then this is pinboard 1. This is pinboard 2. This is pinboard 3. This is the new pin that my sister got me for my birthday, which was yesterday. It's a Project Hail Mary pin. Project Hail Mary is one of my favorite books. So I want to fit this onto one of these as well. And as you can see, there's like a ton of Marvel pins up here. There's a couple down here, and I want to consolidate them. So that's what we're doing today. Immediately went, oh, that's Idris Elba. So starts with Idris Elba. I think Idris Elba is how you pronounce it, but so sorry if it's not. It starts with him and a gunfire fight, so we're off to a great start. Okay, so I just finished Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. I give it 1.5 stars. It's just not for me. Ooh, that was too much. I could barely pay attention to it, which is probably equal parts my fault and the movie's fault. But what I could pay attention to, I didn't enjoy, and I was trying, I promise. Swear to you, I was trying. Obviously, like, it's Nicolas Cage, and that's a plus, and Idris Elba is a plus. But I don't know, I just didn't really like care about it at all. I tried. I didn't like it very much, so 1.5 stars. It is now second to last on my movie ranking on Letterboxd. The list is at 27 movies, I think. And also, that is the end of phase 1. That's it, we're done. So next week, we start phase 2. Phase 1 is really, really short, clearly, because I did it in 2 weeks. Phase 2 will take a little longer. Phase 3 will take even longer. I think phase 3 or 4 is the longest. I think it's phase 3. Kind of phase 1 going out on a low note, and when it came in on such a high note, starting with Iron Man, but how could I expect anything to beat the early Avengers movies? I mean, I have to rank those higher on nostalgia alone. That's it for week 6 and phase 1. I assume I will do another outro, so I don't have to say goodbye, because I want to go over the stats and such for where we are so far. Next week, we watch the Amazing Spider-Man movies. So get ready to see me cry.